Hey everybody, it's Jay and Mental. We are just back from the New Hampshire Motor Speedway. And when I say we, I mean Mental. I did not go because it is always snowy, cold, and rainy there. And how was the weather in Concord? Glorious.
It's a little cold in New Hampshire.
How cold is it?
It's so cold. Donnie's wearing shoes.
But in the absence of Lemon's fearless leader, we had Judge Craigers and Judge Kurt administering justice to the wayward drivers of the Northeast. In addition, we had Kim, Christine, Brad, Rich, and of course, Dale and Ken.
Now, this weekend was Dale's birthday. It seems like it's weird. It seems like it's always Dale's birthday, but it was also Kim's birthday.
Happy birthday, dear Kim. Happy birthday to you.
Hella sweet road manglers. Now, you know how this works. This race is brought to you by Yokohama. And if you race on a set of Yokohamas, you let us know. You put on the Road Mangler tire sticker, just like everybody with a 392 Charger. And if you win the Road Mangler Cup, you get a set of free tires. You'd be silly not to do it. This race, we had our second time winner, car 491 Corky Racing, and their 94 Miatas is going to be getting another set of Yokohamas. If you want free tires, you know what to do.
But terrible Corvettes. Ragged Racing brought a couple of Corvettes. I don't know why they keep doing this. They were at the Corvette Museum track a couple of weeks ago. It was terrible. It was equally terrible here.
Hella sweet costumes. Lemons has been coming to New Hampshire Motor Speedway for the last 10 years. We like the track and we love the staff. They enjoy the zany mayhem that Lemons racers bring to Halloween, and this year the costumes were on point.
Hella Sweet, Pride Boys, and the Tiki Torch Take Back.
This is the joy!
I gotta say, first of all, these guys were in P1. I don't know how that happened. Needless to say, it didn't last. They did blow up. But this is a team that decided, hey, Lemons is inclusive. We are gonna push that, and we think that's fantastic. As a little aside, I got a couple of emails from people. First time we profiled this team, they were like,
well, you say you are inclusive, but then you get angry at people like us who have family values. And how can you say you are inclusive?
and you know what? You're right. I lied. When I said inclusive, I mean we are inclusive to everyone who isn't a Hella Sweet. This race is always good for parties. Friday night, we had Alex Levinson running a bar. We had Brian Hirth running his own pizza oven. These guys took care of the entire paddock. They put a little tip jar out there, didn't bug anybody, raised hundreds and hundreds of dollars for Speedway Children's Charities.
Now, behind the scenes was Northeast fixture Jason Hopkins. Thanks to everyone that helped out. But terrible penalties. This being a Northeast race, there was no shortage of miscreants.
Question number one. No!
But terrible and really hella sweet is the swap. What's the swap? The swap is a Porsche 914 with a killer small block Chevrolet V8. This thing showed up for the test day last year. They were just going to drive around. They saw all these weirdos around their cars and they said, we want to do that. We're going to enter. And we said, $500 my ass, and or why you ruin classic. They insisted. We said, fine, we're going to give you 420 penalty laps. They went out and on the first lap, totally creamed the wall, had to duct tape the whole thing back together. Thought we'd never see them again. They came back this year.
So, not learning their lesson, they were back with one small request from Judge Craigers, and that was they wanted an opportunity to make it into positive laps. So Judge Craigers only gave them 69 penalty laps this year.
This is a travesty. This is an outrage. How could Lemons let this car run?
Now, how far did the car that's ruining the Lemon series make it? One lap.
Hella Sweet. Three Pedal Mafia's theme this time was Squid Game, which of course is the Netflix hit series about Baroque-ass losers forced to compete to the death for soulless corporate shills.
Hey, wait a minute.
Moving on, so their whole thing revolved around the classic red light, green light scene from the opener of that show, but being Three Pedal Mafia, of course, it included marital aids. but terrible, I guess. The League of Legitimate Nigerian Businessmen, they decapitated Florida Man a couple of races ago. This time, Randy Bish and his, shall we say, unique group of friends, they had a seance to revive the famed VinWiki storyteller. All of that said, even revived, we really want this guy to stop snorting sweetener.
Also, hella sweet, the number 97 Evil Spirit truck. Now, this car really wasn't racing, but he had a paid entry and didn't have any other teammates, so he took it as an opportunity to test the car. You don't recognize it now, but a few years back, he blew up the 6 in this boring BMW E30. Unable to source a replacement engine, he elected to do a V8 swap that night. Got an award for it, got it running. But during the pandemic, Scott turned his attention to the rest of the vehicle. The car is now an El Camino-ized BMW running a Ford 302. The details, the paint, the bodywork, it's all really well done. But now why is this super cheaty, pretty car hella sweet? Because he built it inspired by his son's favorite Hot Wheel to impress his kid. Because the most important thing is a father's love. Class C went to Elmo's Revenge. Now, these are longtime racers, Lemons trivia experts, and all-around great crew from the Elmo's Revenge. They brought both their Saturns. Their twin-cam wagon was in B, but their 100-ish horsepower SL1 sedan battled with the 91 Jetta of Lonesome Valley Racing until the last hour. They were able to hang on and take the win.
In Class B, I'm going to say something that nobody has ever said before. Multi-class winning Pontiac Fiero. Actually, that's not true. Salty Thunder kind of cracked that nut before these guys. However, this is even more extraordinary because this is a Pontiac Fiero A. B, it was purchased from Mike Austin, an automotive journalist. Huge red flag right there. And this car has been but terrible for 15 years in Lemons. Somehow 8 years ago, I think everybody else got food poisoning and couldn't race. They got a C-class win out of this thing. Never thought anything like that would happen again. They got B-class at this race. How does this happen?
All right. Now, overall was the number 888 Momrath Racing. Now, just winning overall, it's boring. We rarely, if ever, actually care unless it's interesting. All weekend, the boring BMW of Momrath battled with the very much not boring 401 Ford Falcon of the other Northeast veteran team, Rust in the Wind. Now, the drama came when 401 used up all of its tires on Saturday and their times dropped off. Then Sunday morning, as the green flag waved, Amanda forgot to put the hood pins in the car and the hood flew up. Now, they were able to get it fixed, get it back on track, and just barely keep car number 43, which is now the Blue Betty of Three Pedal Mafia, in their perennial bridesmaid status.
Now, a little bit of Lemons trivia. With this win, Amanda becomes only the second captain ever to win an IOE and an overall race in the same season. How do they do it? Well, they're really good at what they do. They brought a horrible pre-war Buick to a previous race. I mean, that's going to be an IOE if you do like 5 laps. And they're good drivers and they're organized. That's how you do it.
I got screwed. Number 27, misfiring on all cylinders. And we actually had to do a little digging on this one. We didn't know they were screwed or even there because they never came to BS or tech or to get their armbands or transponder.
Well, what were they so busy doing? Well, they had already, before tech, blown their head gasket. Now, this should not have happened, but hey, whatever, stuff happens. So they get on the phone, 90 minutes away, they find a replacement used head.
After a 3-hour trip there and back, they spend all day and most of the night Saturday getting the car put back together. Come Sunday, no dice. Their new $250 used head is also warped.
So what do? Do they boo-hoo-hoo? No, they do not. They push the car up on a trailer and go through the paddock saying, hey, who else can we help? Whose car can we get back on the track? They got 2 teams to get back out on the track before the end of the race.
And that's the kind of attitude that we love so much. All right, heroic fix, number 600, Knights of Classic Bore. This is the first-time team, the Knights of Classic Bore, B-O-R-E. Get it? Now, they brought a surprisingly clean and rust-free Saturn wagon, the SW2 with a 5-speed and a twin-can engine. Eric Rude's heart was all aflutter.
Of course, they promptly ventilated that block. No worries. Elmo's Revenge, those guys to the rescue. They provided a spare engine, spent all night getting that thing plugged into this car, took the green flag on Saturday, and great news, they drove terribly for the rest of the weekend.
Organizer's choice was the number 20 Zappum Camaro. This danged old Camaro had their first event at Thompson, and then they got smart. Did nothing to their engine, instead poured their efforts into a Men in Black theme. Not certain, but I think it may have helped with their BS inspection.
A, 5 laps. B, 0 laps.
They costumed up, had the accessories, and a new take on what is usually a played-out theme. They went obscure.
They did have a few penalties. They figured it out. They learned. They got better. These guys, they brought their family. They had a great attitude. And at the end of the weekend, the captain said, you know what? I got this thing figured out. Next time, I'm bringing a 50-gallon bucket of turd polish. We love these guys. Judge's choice went to Squid Rope Racing and their BMW. Now, because they had a BMW, they were smart. They knew they had to work the theme really hard. And they did work it hard, including the George Barris-esque pit vehicles. Really well done. They even costumed hella hard, and they were in 10th overall when this happened.
So the Batmobile broke studs and lost a wheel.
I got away!
Sunday, they had a few penalty visits, but took to that even with the same delightful enthusiasm.
And now, a reading from the Toyota Corolla Handbook and Repair Manual. In this section, we will describe only 3-speed manual transmissions and refer to the 4-speed transmission manual number 96015 about the 4-speed transmission. Hallelujah!
Now, our regional award went to car number 69, nice, Team Ram Van. And it was entitled, You Poor Misguided Children. New teams are a mixed bag. Some come and try and set a lap record right after the green flag, which they never do. And some are unable to read and comprehend a How to Pass Tech PDF, which is on the website. But others come with a sense of open-mindedness and a true desire to fit into the community.
This thing's gonna dominate.
This group of longtime buddies, they found this a crappy old 04 Scion. They themed it as the shuttle bus from their college. After passing tech the first time because they read the rule book, they spent Friday painting and theming the car. They even had this internal debate. Is the theme of the Ram on a lamb, is that going to be too offensive for Lemons racers?
Now, they asked questions, listened to the answers, found other teams, and got advice. They really enjoyed the experience. As one of the team members said, I thought I was the weirdo. Here, we're like normal.
Because the most important thing is community. They went out, they tried to stay out of the way, they tried to keep it under control. They had a couple of penalties, but they learned really quickly, and we were even able to give them a little advice on the proper way to get on track, to which the driver said, oh, wow, well, that's way less scary than what we were doing.
And yes, they did roll their car, but because they followed directions, hired a professional welder, brought good safety equipment, the driver was fine. And next year's New Hampshire race is 1 week later, so they'll all be able to come back, and we hope they do.
And that takes us to the IOE, the top prize, which went to Team Hesh. Team Hesh had a very simple concept. We are going to take the most hammered 82 Escort you can imagine from your high school parking lot, if you're of a certain age, and we are going to fill it with Dawkins listening headbangers on their way to the Circle K.
This team battled overheating, vapor lock, and a host of other issues all weekend. Our innovative solution was to cut holes in the hood and use Tupperware as cooling scoops.
I also love this was the slowest car on the track by far. It was fully 20 seconds off, just a normal average pace for this race. And yet they finished ahead of like 30 other cars.
This thing's gonna dominate.
The theme was totally snatched from that classic mockumentary heavy metal parking lot. They were in costume all weekend. It was glorious.
They took the green, they took the checker, they didn't cause anybody any heartburn, they made everybody laugh. That's all we're asking. Perfect IOE. Because the most important thing is working hard. Here's Lemons in a nutshell.
not hurt yourself.
Wanna get high?
If you suck at driving like we do, check out the Lemons iRacing League.
If you suck at racing, check out iRacing, lemonsiRacing.com.
Not even close. ISuckAtRacing.com.
ISuckAtRacing.com.
And you suck at commercials.
Yeah.
This thing's gonna dominate.
It's gonna dominate.
Oh yeah!